Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum, good morning, and welcome back to the second part of the video on the aims of education. In the last video, we discussed what education should be all about, that is, teaching people or children about themselves, about the people and things around them, to allow them to live a life with happiness, health, contentment, and purpose. This includes survival skills and physical, emotional, and spiritual well being. This also includes teaching them the etiquettes of social engagement, interacting with family, friends, and neighbors, as well as knowing how to interact with other creatures in this world and nature itself. Today, we will discuss other things that the child will observe in the world and have questions about. These include the physical world around him and how it works. We will also look at how human societies exist and have existed and why it's important to study them. So, let's get started.
What else do you see when you look around? You see trees, rivers, oceans, the clouds, you see weather patterns. What kind of questions come to your mind when you see these things? I'm sure it's the same kind of questions that a child asks when he looks around. Why is the world the way it is? How do things work? Why do clouds float? How do winds blow? Why are some substances sweet and some salty or sour or bitter? Why does the sun go around the earth? Or does it? Why can't we see the stars during the day? How do ships float on the water? How do birds and planes fly? How do we get sick? How do we cure ourselves? How do we cure diseases that are not yet curable? Curiosity about the world and everything in it, people, the things. This is human nature. We want to know. And how do we structure our thoughts in a logical way to inquire about the world around us? That is science, a set of tools of reason by which we can know the world around us. Additionally, how do you create a scientific mindset, a scientific temperament, one that is based on reason, that brings reason into play in all spheres of life? Scientific education is not about earning money. It's about creating a certain mindset. A mindset in which you use reason and logic to inquire about the world and question your own self about the opinions and ideas that you hold about the world and things around you, to help us get rid of superstitions and base our ideas and our thoughts on fact. Of course, we realize, and the child will realize in due time, that there is another set of people that run the country, that run the things around us. There are members of parliament, there are ministers, the prime minister and the president. It is in fact very exciting to learn about how people organize themselves as races and tribes and nationalities. What are the principles on which each system of governance is based? And how accurately are those principles being achieved in that system? How well are we able to offer security to our citizens, provide them justice, and open the doors of economic possibilities for them, while allowing people the freedom to move around the earth? In due time, the child will also realize that there are other societies like ours around the world. These societies exist throughout different continents, and people have adapted to the climatic conditions and food choices. It is amazing to learn about how cuisines evolved, how languages developed in different parts of the world, how we build and how we trade and communicate in different regions of the world. This also brings an understanding that fundamentally we are the same. Human beings throughout the world are the same, and therefore it helps build and fosters human brotherhood. Another thing that the child will realize is that he is not the first person on earth, and ours is not the first generation on earth. He has parents, and they had parents, and so on and so forth. and the history of civilization is long. We have been around for a long time now. We need to understand how people lived and flourished in different parts of the world in different times before us. How did they live? What did they eat? How did they trade? How did they communicate? How did they organize themselves in the past? What factors led to their growth and what caused them to decline? An important part of studying history is to understand how effectively human beings have created just societies. All the principles and thoughts and philosophies that we have built, how effectively did they help human beings realize their potential? And what were those things that prevented this from happening, the social justice from happening? History is a great way to learn about the potential of humanity for good and evil. All these things are amazing and so very interesting if we can teach them correctly and not make them boring subjects that require memorizing a set of facts and an examination system that checks the power of regurgitation.
With this, we come to the end of part 2. I have more to say on this subject, and I will gather those thoughts in the next part of this video. To recap, today we discussed why it's important that each one of us should understand the natural phenomenon and develop a scientific attitude in life and learn to differentiate between fact and superstition. Teaching this ought to be an important aim of the education system. We also looked at the fact that human societies throughout the world have existed for long and have developed in their own unique ways and are governed in different ways. Learning about this helps us appreciate human diversity and learn from the past how our actions shape our future. If these thoughts resonate with you, do let me know through comments and by liking this video. And if you think someone else you know may find this interesting, please share with them. You may also subscribe to this channel to get notified when I upload the next video. Thank you and goodbye for now.